Hi there. My name is Stan Holt. I am the co-owner of Partners for Impact along with my colleague Beth Bordeaux.
And I'm the founder of Partners for Impact. Started this company about 7 years ago, and Stan joined about 3 years ago, almost 4 now.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that we've been doing as consultants is we've been working a lot with Simon Sinek's concentric circles, beginning with why in the middle, and then going out to how and what, related to why we do what we do. Why do we do this work? So we wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking about our why.
Yeah.
So tell us about your why, Stan.
So, as I was telling you before, as we were practicing for this, I grew up as a queer kid in a fundamentalist church, and one of the challenges of that was being incredibly isolated. And so I've experienced that isolation and escaped from it, moving across 3 states, right? So I did all that. But as I started my career in human services, I started seeing how this isolation occurred in systems that are related to human services. We would isolate people, and not only isolate people, it would be detrimental to their health or their mental health. I mean, you could look at issues of HIV prevention and treatment. You could look at issues of homelessness, and you could look at issues of foster care or child welfare. And this isolation and this systems that cause both the isolation and the, quite frankly, vulnerability was something that I just feel like we need to change. So that's my why.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Yeah. So when I first got out of school, social work school, one of my earliest jobs was in early intervention. And I was working with children with disabilities, young children in inclusive child care centers. And there's this one kid that just really stands out and stood out to me for a long time, and has actually, the story of his experience and his family's experience has followed me throughout my career. It's really, he had cerebral palsy, he had lots of different issues, and we worked so hard just to get him on Medicaid and get disability. And you would think that a kid with really severe stuff going on, that it would be a no-brainer.
Right.
But it was not. It was one obstacle after another, and that just stuck with me. How difficult the system can be in actually creating barriers for people, and in actually making folks more vulnerable. And so that really resonated with me. And I think there's another piece for me around my why, and that's when I went through a discernment process for becoming a priest. I went through a process to become an Episcopal priest, and I actually stopped about halfway through, but that's because I discerned my way through it, right? And I discerned my way into a different path. And what I learned at that time, through all that deep reflection, was about how to be the kind of person who's constantly learning and changing, and how important that it has become in my life to be aware, to be self-aware, and to be adaptable, and to continuously be changing in order to grow into my new learnings, right? And so I try to kind of pull those things together. My understanding of the vulnerabilities that systems can create, and also the deep need for systems and organizations and individuals to be constantly discerning and evolving and changing and developing ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that's on some level why I wanted to join the company, because it was really clear that the Partners for Impact is about creating change in communities, and it's about creating the systems change in those communities in a way that addresses it's disrupting those systems that create the vulnerabilities for people.
Right. And we can't do that alone.
No, we can't. And so that's what we're all about, is working in communities with a diverse set of stakeholders, helping create community change.
That's what we're about.
That's what we're about. That's our why.